Hi, Mom.
Hi, honey.
Hey, I know you don't have a computer, but I'm getting torn up online by like powerful elected female politicians. They're calling me.
I'm sorry.
What are you
Sorry,
laughing at?
Huh?
What are you laughing at?
Because I think they're. I don't know if I should say that to you,
Go ahead.
but I think most of these elected quote unquote women stand in the majority if they can't define what a woman is, and yet when it suits their needs, they claim it. I'm sorry.
Well,
Not to worry.
I might have called them a bad word, and
Ooh.
when I was growing up and I called you a bad word, you put soap in my mouth or spanked me with a wooden spoon. I mean, what do
Oh,
you,
I have to tell you, if I could correct you, if you did those things, it was not to my face. I would have to say, growing up, you were pretty respectful.
well, I appreciate
that's
that,
all you
Mom.
asked for.
I mean, I feel I was raised by a strong woman, and I think I know how to hang out with strong women because of you. But you want to know what I said?
Sure, it's bothering you. Yeah, I would like to.
I said I'll see you next Tuesday.
Okay.
That's a euphemism for cunt.
Oh, never liked that word.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
hey, in the grand scheme of things, look at the language we use now. So that means what? It's another four-letter word, yeah?
Yeah, I call guys cunts too.
Yeah, it's I'm not quite sure. I don't like manufactured rage. It kind of diminishes the real stuff.
I mean, isn't it like if you're lousy at what you do, you're lousy at what you do, and it doesn't matter what's in your pants?
I think I said that earlier, honey, but I have a way of going in circles and circles. Yeah, sometimes you get there because you like the tag woman, right? And then you get up there and you want to play with the big boys. And your merit is the fact that you fob the fact you're a woman. Well, you can be a woman very ill qualified, just like men. You want to play with the big boys and take the falls that they do. And as a matter of fact, I have heard men referred to in very, very disparaging ways that would make the cunt word look like another four-letter word that's very nice. I just don't care for this stuff, honey, and I'm truly at my age just sick and damn tired of it. You are a good man. You have always been very kind to me and very respectful from the time you were young, and I'm sure behind my back, like most kids, not so much. But that's a different story. No, you're a good man.
Appreciate you saying that, Mom. So I
No,
guess
I sound like a typical mother, but you are a very good man, Charlie, and you have taken very good care of me through the years, and I am very grateful.
and I appreciate your endorsement, Mom, and I love you. And in the name of the family, I'm not going to apologize. Fuck them.
Well, you must do what you feel is adequate, honey, and find your own reasons for doing it. I'm sorry, this is one I don't like it. It irritates, sometimes angers me. You have to do what you feel is right, but I quite frankly think that they like to throw up the tempest in a teapot. And it just depends on, do you want to drink their tea?
Nah, I don't. Okay, Mom, I love you. I'll see you for Thanksgiving.
I love you, my son. Stay home and stay put. It's a holiday, and just eat a lot of turkey and watch TV.
I hate turkey. You know that.
I'm not fond of it either, but nonetheless, eat a lot of stuffing.
Remember we were so broke growing up, like you used the breadcrumbs for the stuffing, remember?
I did what?
Bye, Mom.
Goodbye, sweetheart.
Live from downtown Detroit, it's the No Bullshit News Hour with my main man, Charlie LeDuff, and Karen Dumas.
No bullshit!
Let's just breaking this. No more bullshit. No more bullshit.
Well, you know, when it rains, the power goes out. And when the power goes out, the internet goes out. When the internet goes out, I call my friend Matt and Bernie at XG Service Group. Look at Bernie here on his hands and knees, giving it everything he's got. Look at that man crack. So busy, he forgot to wear a belt. There's Matt right there getting the board together. That's 734-245-4100 if you need Matt and Bernie to come take care of your voice over internet, your security cameras, off-campus access control, Wi-Fi, and cameras for homes and business. They'll design it for you. You got restaurants, they do drive-through systems, railroad cameras for public safety, total wireless camera systems for your home and business. Yeah, that's right. Call XG Services at 734-245-4100. ADR Consultants, experienced overseeing more than $250 million in public and construction projects since the turn of the century. They're competent. If you want to reduce your costs and increase your bottom line, you want to cut the red tape, you're going to need somebody that knows how to navigate it. That would be ADR Consultants in procurement and government compliance and information technology. ADR, smart. Get the job done right, on time, on budget. 248-318-9424. Call Barry Ellentuck for a free consultation. And thank you, Mom, for that wonderful endorsement. None of y'all hold a candle to her. Hear me? Period. That's it. Not scared of your bullshit. As you expect from this program, it's huge. Joining us later in the program is former Congressman Pete Meyer, who is now running for United States Senate. That makes 3 out of the 4 big candidates that have appeared on the show, and doesn't have the guts to show up.
Everyone's asked.
We also have the Alliance analysis from the No Bullshit News Hour's Director of Sports and Scouting, Joey Buns. But first, how are we going to do this, man? Are we going to roll this tape first?
I think we should roll the tape first.
All right. Somebody trying to make some money off my back. Here is a no-name senator from my mother's district last week mentioning me, not by name, on the Senate floor. Got oodles of views. It's the View Rachel Maddow crowd. She's raising money off it now. They all seem to do this. Let's play the tape.
Michigan voters elected women to run our state. Whitmer, Nessel, Benson. And the Democratic caucus of the Michigan Senate for the first time in history is led by a woman and has more women than men. I understand this fact may rankle insecure men like the former Detroit News employee who, lacking control of his emotions, called the Attorney General the C word and got himself fired. What this man and friends need to understand moving forward is that women aren't putting up with this crap anymore. And we literally don't have time to coddle members of the He-Man Woman Haters Club or whatever it is in someone that would make them say such a thing out loud. Or make someone like the senator from the 3rd District to be so obsessed with women on vacation. We've got things to do. Like run the state of Michigan.
Let me just say something here. The boss is the boss, the chief is the chief, the attorney general is the head lawman, and it doesn't matter a lick what genitalia they're toting around. But there's one thing they all have in common. Every boss and every elected official has an asshole. And it's become apparent to me that there are too many political bosses in Lansing who are in need of an enema. Take the case of that backbencher in the Michigan State Senate, a woman of little renown or oratorial sophistication. She gave me that shout out on Capitol floor last week during the waning hours of the legislative session. It was my second mention of the day, which triggered a torrent of comments on social media, mostly in my favor. They can't get enough of me in Lansing these days. I'd like to thank the senator for that. Now, as a matter of decorum, the senator did not specifically mention my name, and as a matter of equanimity, I shall do the same. However, it wasn't hard to decipher who she was speaking of. Madam Backbencher weakly characterized me as a card-carrying member of the Good Old Boys Woman Haters Club after my Colorful call out of the foibles, the failings, and the fibbings of the ruling class of Michigan, who at this moment happen to be Democrats and who happen to be women. See you next Tuesday. The junior senator must not be familiar with my work, since the list of my criticisms of those with the XY chromosomes is a long one. It includes former county executives, mayors, judges, and chiefs of police. I once referred to former Governor Rick Snyder as a cocksucker for his cowardly response to the Flint mass water poisoning. No one said a word then. See, when you're the boss and you're in the wrong, you can expect a spanking from me. I've never covered state politics much. Apparently, the privileged of Lansing are accustomed to pampering from the political press. But from my point of view, if you're a dude or a chick and you suck, then you suck, and I'm going to say it. Now, in her floor speech, the junior senator took issue with my criticism of her pal, Attorney General Dana Nessel. Nessel has been a disaster by any measure. Just ask the people of Flint, or Benton Harbor, or the students of Lansing. At issue last week was Nessel's exotic vacation to the island's Turks and Caicos earlier this year. According to the junior senator, men like me think powerful women are not entitled to some well-earned R&R. But nothing could be further from the truth. Rather, I take exception to elected representatives accepting outrageous junkets from special interests. In the case of Nessel, she vacationed with the prominent Traverse City attorney in an, wait for this, $8,629.25 per night penthouse overlooking the azure waters of Grace Bay. How do I know that? Because the concierge at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel told me so. The concierge also told me that the tab was picked up by the attorney's law firm. Now, Nessel and her attorney pal insist that Nessel reimbursed her fair share, but have yet to provide proof. Imagine if that's even true. The Attorney General of Michigan cutting a check to a prominent law firm for a tropical island getaway. It reeks of Clarence Thomas. The senator posted her speech, which got a lot of views. Now she's using it to raise political money. Governor Gretsch did the same thing the last time around. Again, these gals all want a piece of LeDuff. Curious, I took a glancing look at the junior senator's campaign filings. What the backbencher failed to mention in her speech is that the very same attorney who picked up Nessel's tab is one of the single largest individual contributors to the senator herself. In the interest of transparency, the senator might want to mention that. Also among the senator's biggest individual contributors is a snitch from the swamp of Wayne County politics, a man who was caught up in a federal car theft sting. I wrote about him and his political connections too. And all the principal players and that crapacious craper had penises, I presume. Nobody then said a word. The senator ought to return the money. Now, speaking of Wayne County swamps, my mother lives in the senator's district near a filthy river. There's no movement to clean it up or to shoo away the drug fiends who congregate there under a bridge, shoot drugs, defecate, and burn fires. The dope fiends regularly break into nearby businesses. My mother calls, but nothing ever happens. The roads in the senator's district are a disaster. Moreover, more than half of the students at the nearby high school are below grade level in math and reading. The power goes out of my mother's house whenever the wind blows. What happens then? The senator accepts oodles more from DTE, but things continue to worsen. My mother is not happy with her senator, and neither are her lady friends who do lunch. They've all written her name down. Turks and Caicos is the least of Boss Nessel's problems and should be the least of this junior senator's concerns. There is the matter of the mushrooming blockbuster criminal case involving elder abuse and other high-ranking Democratic officials. The junior senator is now on the record as not giving a flying flip about our most vulnerable women. There are storm clouds on the horizon for these political bosses. And everybody in the junior senator's district knows what happens when the sky starts to darken. The lights soon go out. We'll be back after this. No BS News Hour brought to you by Legacy Partners Insurance. Do what we've all done here. Call them, 586-209-4106. They will shop for a better insurance rate for you. You will pay less and get more coverage for your home, your car, your motorcycle, your camper, your vacation cottage, all of it. They'll even help you with life insurance and Medicare. Call Legacy Insurance, 586-209-4106. Have them wrap their arms around you. Be covered. Be safe.
This message of Uplift is brought to you by business and personal wealth advisor Luke Nowacki, who reminds you that what does it profit a man to gain the whole world but never enter the kingdom of God? But while you're waiting, Nowacki wants you to remember that overreaction is not a sound financial strategy. So call Luke Nowacki at 248-663-4748 for sound financial advice.
We're back, right? Okay, guess who we have right here?
Who's that?
Former Congressman Peter Meyer, no S. Peter Meyer. Not Fords, not Myers. Running for Senate.
It's good to see you.
Why don't you just get a real job, man? Why don't you always be running for...
Because in a real job, people like say nice things to you, right? And I've lost that edge. I forget what it was like, and I miss that feeling of no matter where somebody's coming from, always giving them a reason to slug you. You know,
you're looking for some fun. Okay, so let's do this real quick. Who is Peter Meyer? Let me.
Sure.
I put something together here. You know, we know each other.
Sharpie edits.
Peter Meyer, Congressman Peter Meyer, Republican from Grand Rapids, accepted the outcome of the 2020 election. Said no, in fact, it wasn't fraudulent. That
first mistake.
First mistake, but it was the truth. Mm-hmm. Are you now telling me telling the truth is a mistake, sir?
Oh, I meant politics. No, telling the truth in politics is a mistake. It shouldn't be. We shouldn't accept that. I don't accept that.
Do we have your word if the great people of the great state of Michigan send you to Washington that you continue to speak the truth as you know it?
Not to be.
Oh, look at that! Got him.
No,
got
I was going to tell like
already. I don't know. I don't know.
Tell a lie. The cherry tree. No, yeah. I mean, I got nothing to lose on that front, right?
Okay. Now, Congressman Peter Meyer voted to impeach Trump.
Mm-hmm. Number two. Yeah.
Congressman Peter Meyer voted to provide the Ukrainian government with billions of dollars.
I did.
Okay. Congressman Peter Meyer voted for a federal law in codifying same-sex marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Congressman Peter Meyer believes in global warming is created by human activity.
I do.
Congressman Peter Meyer was one of 14 House Republicans to support gun control.
I would differ on the rationale for gun control, but I did vote in support of the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act.
So you're running as a Democrat.
I'm a heretic 6 times over by your reckoning.
Are you running as a Democrat?
No, I'm not running as a Democrat.
That's right. You oppose abortion.
No, that did not stop me, sir, or that did not stop my Democratic colleagues from trying to turn me a few times. There were some overtures that I
They did a
rebuffed.
number on you. When you were running for re-election, you were a one-term congressman. Mm-hmm. The Democrats quietly backed a super right conservative guy from out of state. What was his name's Gibbs or something?
Hmm.
And so
it was pretty.
You're a centrist.
I mean, I just try to be like a practical individual, right? I'm like all those pieces of legislation that you mentioned. I read those things top to bottom. I talked to folks who knew kind of issues. One comment I got from a legal person, a Republican legal advisor on the same-sex marriage bill, which was the most straightforward thing imaginable, is like, hey, you know what? If Obergefell is overturned, if that day comes, any marriages that had been performed, as long as it's between two consenting adults who are, two consenting adults validated by a state, will be recognized by other states. Full faith and credit clause of the Constitution, right? straightforward. In the event that Obergefell is overturned, which it wouldn't be, and you didn't have that, it'd be absolute fucking chaos. You would have people across the board, kids who had parents who were married, who are no longer married, just utter insanity. So we had a little simple solution to that. Now that gets, all of a sudden, the proponents of it way overstate its impact. The detractors way overstate the downside. I just try to read the legislation and make a judgment accordingly.
As we send you there to represent society. Again, I don't know what the government's doing in the business of sanctifying marriage. What they should be doing is civil unions for everybody because it's contracts, money, children, property. Yeah. You let
taxes,
your synagogue or your mosque or your church sanctify a marriage. You know what I mean? So again, that's really centrist. That really plays in, and him growing up here, moving around here, we are like that. But running as a Republican in a primary, as you just saw last year, that's a difficult trick to get to November. And once you're in November, you can see, my opinion, not Karen's, not yours, but mine is, the Democrats don't have shit. What they have, you saw it in Kentucky, you saw it in Ohio, is abortion. And so now you're the centrist and you're going to get clobbered with abortion, sure. No exception?
No.
Lay it out. Abortion.
Yeah. Let's talk about the role of the federal government.
No, give us
just
give us it real clean, like women's health.
Let me just be very clear from the outset. I do not support a federal ban on abortion.
You better say it again.
Period. Full stop. No federal ban on abortion.
So it's.
I'm happy to walk into the details, right? But that should be something that is decided by the states, right? It's going to have to be. What happened in the state of Michigan is we went from essentially a 22-week ban. Now, obviously, there is not a person alive on the right who does not believe in exceptions for the life of the mother, no matter at what point, right?
I know a few.
Oh, no. But we went from 22 weeks in the state of Michigan. Now, Roe was overturned. We go down to the 1931 law, which is basically 0, but then life of the mother. That was considered far too harsh by approximately 60% of the voters in the state of Michigan. So Prop 3 passes. So we go from 22 to 0 to literally no exceptions or no restrictions at any point, right? You can have, beyond the way to the hospital and good to go, right? So 0 and 44 are not reasonable in that. The reasonable place and where I think folks who are pro-life like myself should be making the strong and impassioned case for is you have to have laws that have empathy. That's where exceptions come in. They have to be empathetic, but they also, should frankly be in line with where much of the civilized world is. But our Constitution leaves questions that deal with, police powers, with medical issues, with health issues. They leave that to the states. And that's where you can also reduce a lot of the hyper fear, this people showing up in Washington dressed like they're coming out of Handmaid's Tale, right? This kind of fear mongering that persists. You can reduce that if you can say, hey, listen, we have this policy. It kind of works.
That was called Roe v. Wade.
But isn't empathy and civility relative? Doesn't that create an issue all along the way because everybody has their own perception or perspective about what that is?
Well, but also when something is more local, then you reduce the fear-mongering can live, right? And suspicion in general can live when folks are removed, when they're isolated. It's a lot easier to believe that somebody on the other side of the country is way off their rocker and doing terrible things, in secret, than somebody who's sitting in the same pew as you in church, right? Or somebody that you see at the water cooler, which doesn't, by the way, mean that local politics can't be the most divisive because, zoning issues can get people up in arms, but it does mean that you're able to better remedy some of those consequences and take it out of the realm of the hypothetical and into reality.
Okay, stay on point, Congressman. So if you're elected senator and there is a piece of legislation for a national abortion ban, you stand against it.
Yeah, first of all, it's not going to happen anytime soon.
Well, if it did, that's it might, and it's a big deal.
That is a power that should be living at the state level.
So you would vote against it?
Correct.
Okay. He's on the record there. We have that. I'll just right there. Peter Meyer, no S. Oh,
there can be an S. Is there an apostrophe
Joey Cupcake
or not?
used to work at the loading docks at Meyer. And he would fill out his fulfillment papers at the end of the day, and he wasn't quite fulfilled. Is that right? The Meyer Warehouse. Where?
Yeah.
In Newport,
Okay.
Michigan.
Nice.
Right.
Nice, nice.
All right, number 2.
Important work. I appreciate the service, sir. Thank you. It is. Logistics are the core of
That
any
was
enterprise.
nice.
It is.
Israel, Hamas.
Yes.
Countries divided on that. I'm not really quite sure they are, but where are you on that? Obviously, Israel has a right to defend itself. 1,400 people are massacred in their beds. Okay.
We're debating whether or not 40 babies were, had their heads cut off, or merely some of them were incident. Like,
is the response proportional? Yes or no?
I mean, the response from the Israeli military is and should be, we will eliminate Hamas. Now, obviously, Hamas has a policy of using civilians as human shields. They're dealing with a dense urban area. Urban combat is awful and bloody and vicious for all parties involved.
Yep.
Now, any individual incidents where there are concerns that a war crime may have been committed, like, sure, have that full airing, but, protected sites like a hospital lose their protected status under the Geneva Conventions, under the law of land warfare.
You're a veteran.
Yeah.
You're a veteran of the Homeland Security Committee, Subcommittee on Intelligence and Counterterrorism, right? Energy. So this is Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of Arabs and a lot of Muslims and a lot of Jews. We're looking for somebody with a big brain because nobody has one. Give us something. Where's Peter Meyer on this? Like, what do we? 10,000 civilians injured. I mean, it's a catastrophe. What's the end game here, Mr. Meyer?
Oh my God. I mean, the end game should be, we want to prevent this turning into even more of a catastrophe than it already has been, right? And that has been my fear from the get-go. And where the bigger concern, like obviously, Gaza, presents significant challenges. But if Lebanese Hezbollah gets into the mix with their 100,000 rockets that are aimed at Israel,
they're already launching them, that.
But at least I'm not like justifying what they're doing, but they aren't unleashing their entire arsenal. They're keeping that in reserve because if they were to do that, immediately you're talking about fatalities among Israeli civilians spiking into the tens of thousands or greater very quickly. A rapid conflict that could escalate that would bring us back to the dark days in the 1970s or 60s in the Middle East, where you have alliances among Arab countries that right now, basically before October 7th, were normalizing relations with Israel. We're focusing on economic development. We're looking at what is the prime axis in the Middle East, which is not Israel versus the Arab countries, but is Iran and their kind of malign Shia influence against the Sunni-based countries of the Gulf Cooperation Council.
Right. So we have. Is it time to negotiate in Ukraine? Yes or no?
You should always be open to negotiations.
Okay, because it seems to me that when we were looking back a year and a half ago, I'm surprised the Russians aren't in Kyiv. So in a way,
frankly miraculous. The way the Ukrainians, who have a country not a tenth, they're like a sixth the size of Russia, right? They have Russia has the second largest military in the world, and the Ukrainians were 12th or 14th.
I get the history lesson, man. I'm asking you this: is there an honorable and acceptable way to stop that warfare and us funding all of it? Do you support negotiations now?
Well, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
But let me just say real quickly, the way the war ends and could end tomorrow is if Putin stopped invading Ukraine.
Well, he's not going to, because they speak Russian in Ukraine. It was part of the Russian Empire in 1685, man. Okay. Now we have Xi in San Francisco. He was met by his protege, Gavin Newsom,
who cleaned up the streets of San Francisco.
He did.
An unimaginable act prior.
And he, got the idea of lockdowns from Xi. Can you believe that? Okay, anyway, having said that, they're buzzing Taiwan. I'm not hearing anything about that. Iran is on the move. There's an axis over here. Does all of this have its root in the humiliating and ridiculous withdrawal from Afghanistan, of which you were criticized for getting on a plane and trying to get people out? Is it time for new leadership on the world stage? And are you the guy to help
No, I mean, if you project weakness, weakness will be what is accepted, right? And what will be taken for granted. If you are overly logical in the way that you respond to world events, right? And this was my problem with the Obama administration, who, if you will remember, that was when Putin seized Crimea and parts of the Donbass was under the Obama administration. If somebody knows, if your enemy knows that they can poke you 1,000 times and you're not going to punch them, you are going to get poked to death. Right. But if they think that if you poke them, you will punch them square between the eyes, they might not poke you. Right. So there is a danger to be overly rational and overly logical in international affairs. Frankly, when Trump, smoked Qasem Soleimani, I had a chat with a couple of buddies, who some were still in, some were out, who were all kind of involved. And I was like, hey, you hearing this? I'm hearing this. Oh, it can't be that. It had to have been like a number 2 guy.
Soleimani, the supreme military ruler of Iraq.
Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, kind of their version of like the CIA and special forces mixed together that, mess things up all throughout the region, been supporting Bashar al-Assad when he's massacring 500,000, civilians of his own, killing far more people, by the way, with Russia's help than ISIS did. Yeah. But you need to do some things that are outside the playbook that are going to upset that apple cart, so that your adversaries don't look at you as someone who can be taken advantage of.
Give us one outside the box idea you have for getting the world back in order.
Very quickly start to look at who your enemies and who your adversaries, and if they're who your enemies, who are your allies. If they're their allies, hold their feet to the fire on places where they should be, right? Europe should absolutely be stepping up more. If they're too squeamish to offer military assistance to Ukraine, then they should be offering economic assistance, right? If they are, having side deals with the Russians, to buy off some of their oil, you got to cut that shit out, right? Ditto when it comes to Iran, ditto when it comes to, countries like Qatar that want to have it both ways, right? Like the Qataris hosting Hamas, it's one thing if you want to be the neutral mediator, but if you're on the side and still a non-NATO major ally of the United States, that's going to come with some responsibilities. I don't care how many F-35s you buy, right? Like, there are ways in which we should be respected by our friends. We should be feared by our enemies. And right now, our friends don't respect us. Our enemies don't fear us. And that's a big fucking problem.
So why? Why not? Is our leadership or lack thereof?
I think the problem is you have these interagency processes where a statement gets watered down, and everyone is clutching their pearls and wringing their hands and saying, oh, geez, I don't know, tone this down. Like, you can't bureaucratize a lot of this stuff, right? You need to have that person-to-person interaction. I have talked to folks through kind of my past connections who are reaching out and saying, hey, we're trying to get a hold of the government kind of on this issue. Can you try to convey this message or that message? And it's astounding to me how frankly sometimes more rational I am having to explain, listen, it's not that they necessarily disagree with you. It's that this is stuck in an administrative process, right? And so that is our problem, right? Government can be so much of the problem, especially in the realm of foreign affairs, when it is ultimately going to be individuals who are establishing relationships, not bureaucracies.
We need somebody to make a decision and have some place that we're going, man.
And this is how I describe the difference between the Trump administration and the Biden administration. Trump might go into a meeting. He might say,
are you running for president?
No.
We're talking about the Senate over here.
That's what I'm saying in terms of leadership.
You're running for Senate, you're not running for president. No senator. Congressman. Former congressman.
Yeah. Failed congressman, right? Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. You're very hard on yourself.
No.
Failed congressman. Well, we got a headline here. Failed congressman. But I'll be better in the Senate. No, come on, man.
Good enough.
You're learning, right? You're learning, man. You learn the ways of, okay, look.
Yes.
The southern border. Mm-hmm. It's a fucking disaster. I covered the border.
Oh my God.
And I don't care. My friends go, man, he took a hard right lurch to the right. No, he didn't. You've been down there. It's a mass humanitarian crisis. Now, I lived through 9/11. It only took 19 motherfuckers to kill 3,000 of my neighbors, friends of mine. Yeah. Okay. We got hundreds coming through on the terror watch list. When you were in Congress on the Homeland Security Committee, Alyssa Slotkin, if you were to get the Republican nomination, assuming she got the Democratic nomination, she was also on the Homeland Security Committee. Never returned a call. I'm just going to do the off the record. It's on the record. Sorry, dude. You did return my calls. When we got a portly guy from Lebanon who married a Venezuelan chick, and then they came up here, we let him in because we didn't want him to get COVID. We gave him a bus ticket to Dearborn, and now he's lost in the wind. So, you and Slotkin, she worked for the National Security Council. She was in charge of the Iran-Iraq portfolio. Thank you for ISIS, madam. I call her Baghdad Betty. She's welcome to be on here. I call them all that. I call them all what they are. She signs non-disclosure agreements with corporations. Her staff signs them with Chinese companies. Do I have your word that you will respond to the questions of the people of Michigan, that you will not be a corporate stooge, you will sign no non-disclosure agreements, and you get that border in order, yes or no, on all of those? There's only one answer.
I don't think I've done anything but that, Charlie. Yes.
Mark said, Mark,
am I in trouble?
who's a libtard, he's still a registered Republican.
So I've been told.
Got sick of him, went totally left. Sorry to do this, Mark. He goes,
Now what do you do?
he's thinking.
I'm an adult. I can handle it.
Does this guy, does he interest you in terms of your vote?
Well, I told you earlier, very much so. Yeah, because he's a centrist. I mean, I'm not nuts about the abortion thing, but I think you answer that pretty fairly and leave it to the states. I mean, that really is the only fear, but everything else to me is a little more important.
I support nobody. I remain neutral. I reserve the right to run myself. I'm just sizing you up.
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
Now, we said we'd get you out of here. So, let me put it this way. Senate don't mean shit to the regular person. Because, like, when Gary Peters, nobody even knows who he is. 60% of the people didn't even know who he was. Right?
No.
Who's leaving? Her name's
I've learned
Debbie
it's
Stabenow.
good if they don't know who you are, right? When everybody knows your name, I mean, it could be because you're on Cheers, or it could be.
So it's basically you're our emissary. Like you're like the president of Michigan in Washington. The president of Michigan is the governor. The president of the United States, the president, and you're our like national and foreign emissary. So why do you want to be senator? What would you bring? And I'll give you like something specific. Mm-hmm. The beautiful Great Lakes. There's 8 states and another country that share them. Mm-hmm. You could put together a group to protect them. That would make me tingle. And here's another one. The power. The power is awful. Mm-hmm. It goes out. It's also terrible in California, and it's terrible in Texas. Would you put a consortium of senators together to guarantee us power? Like, so my mother's not freezing her ass off every Christmas.
No, I mean, and we saw that during the polar vortex, right? Like, there was a fear, like, yeah, we got an ice storm, lines are down, electricity's out, but it's fine. We still got heat. Oh shit, like we might have some of our natural gas storage facilities where the valves are frozen and we can't get the natural gas out. And that's when everything goes from bad to this is catastrophe and people are freezing to death in their own homes, right? I mean, you should never have to wonder if your energy is it should be reliable, number one. It should be affordable, number two. And if we can make it clean, that's fantastic. But if you make it clean and not affordable and not reliable, people are going to die.
Well, we have a problem, which is you're a capitalist. You're a businessman. Your family's a big business concern. The problem in California, Texas, and Michigan is we took a public utility and we semi-privatized it. It's for profit. Yeah. And in that way, it's not reliable. And something that serious, I don't know if you just leave it to the vagaries of the market.
No, well, but you also throw a bunch of mandates on, like right now, our state legislature was passed out and will get signed into law if it hasn't already. I mean, it's literally, I guess it's Wednesday, so maybe the governor's already signed it. It was a 60% mandate to hit renewables by, I believe, 2030, right? You know what doesn't count under the renewables? What? Nuclear, right? Which is our cleanest, cheapest, most reliable source. It's on demand. It doesn't care if the wind is blowing. It doesn't care if the sun is shining, right? It is essential to meet whatever green energy goals you have. It is essential, and that gets shoved to the sideline. Now, Governor Whitmer, to her credit, has been trying to get the Palisades plant in Southwest Michigan kind of back up and running, but like, it's just absolutely insane to me how and this is frankly where I think a lot of the Democrats come down. They take that crisis, right? They take climate change, they take fears and concerns around that, and then they use it as an excuse not to necessarily solve the problem, but to devote
to sell out the special interest, DTE. The power's going out now. Now it's going to be wind and solar. It's only sunny 90 days a year.
How many folks in Lansing have spouses who are working with renewable energy projects that are going to have tens of millions of dollars of state contracts?
What percentage of the Lansing representatives take money from DTE? Like 99% of them.
Yeah.
Like the governor just took $750,000 quiet dollars. Ford and GM and Stellantis are telling you we're done with the electric future. It's not working.
So how do you propose that you really make a difference when bureaucracy and all this is so entrenched?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Like what can you really do? Certainly your voice makes a difference, the visibility makes a difference, but what difference?
Yes, what's Pete Meyer's first 100 days in office?
No, believe me, there's a lot of things that'd be easier, and I do not discount the possibility that Justice Gorsuch will have a majority opinion that will do away with or will reinvigorate what's called the non-delegation doctrine, that Congress cannot take its lawmaking ability and essentially hand that to the administrative state, or that we will have a far more narrowing interpretation of the Commerce Clause, undoing Wickard v. Filburn and all of these kind of old cases that made it so that basically anything could become a federal issue, right? We need a federal government that's focused on what only the federal government can and should be doing, and we need states to be finding solutions for all the rest of those matters so that they can actually look at what works, compare and contrast. If it works, great, continue it. If it fails, get rid of it.
I didn't hear nothing there, did you? I didn't hear nothing.
I'm trying to offer solutions here, sir. Solutions.
If Trump runs, are you going to support
Yes.
him?
No. Last question. Trump. Good one, Karen. Fucking great. Last question.
Yeah, if Trump ends up on the ballot, are you going to support him? I mean, he can make it on to Michigan if he gets in the game.
Man, my cup runneth dry.
Get the man a beer. We got an extra minute. Bonus round.
No, listen, I fully expect to support the Republican nominee. Am I going to be thrilled going into the booth? That's a different question.
Much of us wouldn't be.
No, but at the end of the day, I am firmly committed to making Joe Biden a one-term president. Like, if I am a single-issue voter, I'm a single-issue voter on Afghanistan, and I still feel the sharp, hot knife of that betrayal in my gut every day.
Yeah, man. Just as your beer is coming and we say goodbye. Thank you very much.
Not quite. I wanted to ask about the logo. That was quite genius of you to use your family logo for your campaign.
Cannonball that. What? It's regular people hour. Did
you hear me, Pete? Or you just ignore me?
Press secretary there going, don't do it. You already said F twice. 2 E's and 2 F's.
I understand, but did you hear me?
I heard you.
So you're ignoring me.
That was our initial logo.
Okay.
Well, no, there was crosstalk, right? There was crosstalk.
Right. Okay.
That was the initial logo.
I like to be ignored.
We'll be kind of rolling as we're going along the campaign.
Okay.
But
that was pretty.
We like the logo.
Everybody thought it was a pretty genius move.
Great feedback from folks in the Midwest. There were people in California who were like, "Oh my God, that thing is ugly," and it's like, yeah. If you know, you know.
They don't get it.
No. When I see that Meyer logo and I see you, I'm thinking nice cans.
They're not dented, sir.
Do we have your word to lower prices for everybody?
Higher standards.
Free stuff for everybody.
An enhanced
you mistake which party I'm
program.
Not that far left.
There was somebody saying that the M-Perks program was functioning as a political conduit. It's like, okay, I'm not really sure.
How?
But you got to enjoy. You got to enjoy the.
Did you get permission to use the logo?
Yeah, that's what I wanted
There's
to
no
know.
trademark around that.
There's no trademark
in 2020.
Go register. Get online there and get that Meyer thing real quick.
Let's change our logo.
Then like Whitmer, he can steal our stuff. We own the Meyer thing, and then he'll steal it, and then
thought there
we
would be
won't
some
get paid
infringement
anything.
concerns there.
No, well, but again, if that was our initial logo, we will be. Believe me. So the challenge with that logo, actually, just to be really candid, is I have no idea what font was used, and I've tried a bunch of different AI font identification things. Asked folks, I think it was specifically made. Which the challenge then is, okay, so I want to say Peter Meyer. All right, let me make that P. Wait, okay, do I have to take the R, shave it down? Believe me, I've spent way too much time. I'm running for Senate right now. I should not
hire some people. This is an awfully thin campaign.
Listen,
he's doing his own graphic.
I do it myself, right? I do it myself. I got an Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator
he got a
subscription.
sleeve rolled up and he does it himself. This is going to play in Escanaba, bro.
Yeah.
Listen, thanks. You'll come back as the campaign gets rolling.
100%.
And again, Everybody that's running is welcome, and I would think you need to come through this program because this is where the regular people hang. Good luck, Peter Meyer, running for United States Senate. We'll see you next Tuesday. What?
Hall Financial is putting more money in your pocket with our exclusive no-fee home loan. That's right, you pay no fees to Hall Financial. So in addition to our nearly 6,000 five-star reviews and our average 9-day turn time from application to close, you now pay no fees to Hall Financial. This is going to save you up to $2,500 in fees that you'd normally pay to the other guys. Start saving now, 866-CALL-HALL, or chat with us at callhallfirst.com.
I'm Grace Karros, and I'm third generation of American Coney Island. People say Detroit's a comeback city. I say, where you been? We've been here for over 100 years. My family's been here on the same corner, serving our famous proprietary American Coney Island hot dog. So like always, we're keeping things fresh, updated, and new. We'd love to have you come downtown and visit us, but if you can't, you can always go to AmericanConeyIsland.com, order a Coney kit, get it delivered fresh right to your door.
And now, what all the guys in Downriver been waiting for, it's the No Bullshit News Hour's football analyst, Joey Buns.
Joey Buns, he's Joey Buns. He calls the pass, he calls the run, Joey Buns. Freshly baked just for your wiener or a patty in between, or Joey Buns. Joey Buns.
It's Joey Buns. Joey, how you doing, man? The Flying Lion. How you doing, brother?
Oh, great, man.
All right, 41-38 Lions road win. Your main takeaway?
It was nerve-wracking, but the offense showed up. The defense was a little weak. Like I told you before, they need a pass rusher. Hopefully when Houston gets back in the middle of December, it'll solve that problem.
How many times did Dan Campbell go for it on fourth down?
Oh, God, what was it, 4 times?
4 times. Look at that. The guy knows everything. 4 times. Big set of balls, this guy.
Oh, big time.
He's got to carry him around in a wheelbarrow.
Yeah, you seen that too, huh? Yes, I did. I seen that photo too.
Here's the deal. On the defense, the interior of that D line looks soft to me.
Very soft.
Very soft. Okay,
They're not getting any pressure at all.
This is the 3rd game they've given up 37-38 points, dude.
Yes, that's a problem.
I don't think we're getting to Vegas with a defense like that. You told me, Joey Buns, that the best offseason signing that the Lions made, free agency, was Cam Sutton.
Cam Sutton, yeah.
The guy was garbage. $11 million a year, 2 pass interference, 4 down in the end zone, and then he left his jock strap on that 4th down, and Allen went right by him for the touchdown.
Allen did that to the whole team. Come on, there was nobody out there that could stop him.
Why didn't they double him, Joe?
They did double him.
They did double him.
They did double him. They had one guy down low and a safety in the back. He kept sliding through both of them and getting around them both because they were both too slow. They didn't react to the ball fast enough.
Does that toast your buns, Joe?
Yes, it does. Toast the buns. But the thing you got to look at is Jared Goff is playing at a high level. With a defense like this and him able to put up the points that he's putting up, anything is possible.
He's in his contract year, is he not?
Yes, he is.
Should they extend him right now?
They should be extending him right now.
Look at the camera and tell the head off.
Absolutely. Extend him now. You cannot let that guy go.
Laporta, the tight end, Rookie of the Year candidate?
Yeah.
Okay, Dan Campbell, Coach of the Year? Halfway?
Yeah, he's on that road.
Anybody do a better job this year than Dan Campbell?
I don't think so.
No. Anzalone looks pretty damn impressive to me. He's underrated.
Underrated linebacker, and I'm glad we signed him.
And he can cover guys.
He covers guys. He's fast. He goes sideline to sideline. There's no stopping Anzalone. He's on a roar right now.
When they lined up for that kick, for the game-winning kick, were you thinking about our conversation 2 weeks ago?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, we don't have a great kicker, but this guy's good from inside the 40s. Hey, he did. That was the right call to go for it on 4th down there, eat up the clock, and don't leave them any time. If you'd have kicked that field goal, There's a good chance they would have came down and scored the winning touchdown. You couldn't stop them all day. What makes you think you're going to stop them in the last minute?
Hey, Calvin, this is Calvin the mop over here. Calvin, 41-38. What do you make of that, Calvin?
No comment.
No, hey, Calvin. Calvin. Come here a second. Come here. Oh, he lost. He lost.
Yeah, he made bets and lost.
He made bets and lost.
No comment.
Hey, Cal.
No comment.
No, listen. What was the winning pick 4 lottery number?
It was the same score the final score was.
It was the final, same as the Lions' final score. It was 41-38. 4138 was the winning lotto number. It's got to be the year. It's got to be the year, bro. Chicago Bears, give you a quick take. What the Lions need to do. What's your prediction?
This is going to be a test on the defense again. Fields is back. He's playing. He's a running quarterback. He burned us last year. They have to contain this guy. If they contain him, they'll win.
Load the box? Challenge him to throw?
Absolutely.
Why do I got to do all this, your work?
He's a decent passer, but not great.
And he's not a big league
And
thrower.
our defense just got to get to him. Hutchinson's got to break through. He's got to do something this week.
Hutchinson, man, he's around the ball.
He's around the ball. He just hasn't gotten home.
Yeah, but I mean, when you got 2 guys on you expect him to get home, or is it like that's how we started the day, which is the interior looked a little soft.
They needed another guy. They needed to pick up another end.
Oh, that old Ndamukong Suh middle of the line thing's coming back. You sounded smart.
I've been saying that. Ndamukong's sitting at home. We drafted him. If you give him a call, we're winning. I'm sure he'll come fill that middle.
I notice your buns are kosher.
No.
Yeah, it's right there.
That's
for
kosher.
kosher. No, that's for kosher. It's just nice for a Catholic boy.
Yeah, I never noticed it.
He knows more about the Lions than his own buns. That's Joey Buns. Give me a score.
Lions 34, Chicago 17.
Joey Buns, he's Joey Buns. He calls the pass, he calls the run, Joey Buns. Freshly baked just for your wiener or a patty in between, or Joey Buns. Joey Buns.
Let's go Lions. Don't ruin this Thanksgiving. We'll see you next Thursday.
See you next Thursday.